I just want to say really quick, we're going to have a shorter shift here because I'm tired. I was actually hoping to lay down a little bit during my lunch break, but that would have involved having to go to sleep. That is to say, having to cut off early, and I couldn't do that while construction was happening. So instead, we're going to chop off our second shift a little bit. But don't worry, we're going to get a zone done because this is Kata. We can easily get a zone done in one shift. So that means we have to move up to our next character. Which is somewhere around here. Oh, hang on. It's gone! Oh, God. Oh, right. We haven't made it yet. Let's make our next character, okay? Make a Tauren. Let's see. I'm feeling like what are we feeling for Tauren? Gotta make like a big, powerful, yes, a warrior Tauren. Who's here to kill everything in his way. Horribly, horrifically destroying everything. Yes. Is Tauren mages? Taurens can be mages now? Holy crap. Yes, yes. Or a paladin of the light, dedicated to destroying everything. Let's actually default to warrior. I feel like that fits. Let's call ourselves Air Red. There we go. Wait, hang on. Is anything reddish? Get rid of the flower. There we go. Straight up red. All right. I'll make the horns red. Have the face like be visible, please. There we go. There we go. No, we're gonna do. Wait, is it? Oh, that'll have to be hair. That just looks like her red. Ugh. Oh, whatever. That'll do. That'll do. That works. All right, time for hair red. What's really funny is I deleted some recently.
Great tragedy has rocked the Tauren tribes and shaken their once stalwart devotion to the Horde. A disagreement between the new Orc war chief Garrosh Hellscream and the beloved Tauren chieftain Cairn Bloodhoof led to a duel that ended in Cairn's death. With his loss, the vile matriarch Magatha Grimtotem launched a murderous attack, attempting to seize control of Thunder Bluff for herself. However, Cairn's brave son, Bane Bloodhoof, successfully repelled the attack and banished the surviving Grimtotem to the farthest reaches of the land. Under Bane's hopeful leadership, the Tauren people now seek to heal their wounds and restore the balance between the various factions of the Horde. To this end, a new generation of Tauren Sunwalkers has arisen to lead their people into the light of a new dawn and the promise of rebirth. As a proud tribesman of Mulgore, you must uphold the honor of your people and safeguard the lands of your ancestors.
Yeah, no. Like it or not, the Horde should have stopped existing at this point in time. Like, just completely deconstructed. So, I do want to kind of call out one thing very, very briefly. A lot of people say, lore, what's the difference between, like retail and vanilla? Let me tell you in one simple thing, the difference between retail and vanilla. In vanilla, if you go over here, you could see about to there. So this is like your view radius right here, right? It's very pretty, right? But that's about it. In retail, your view distance is over there. This is something they patched in retail later on. And let me tell you, it is unironically one of the patch changes they've made that I appreciate the most. They really, really shoved out the render radius. And being able to see the entirety of certain zones really added to my enjoyment of a lot of those zones. Remember, I keep talking about the brickwork, visual storytelling, doodads, all that fun stuff. A lot of that sits on the back of being able to actually see what I'm looking at. Mulgore, to use the example, the big rolling green plains, wouldn't be nearly as impressive if I couldn't see the rolling green plains. If my view was restricted to this. That's just me. So, my ignorant take on that. Oh no, it was very Morrowind. It was very Morrowind.
Hail.
What you see here is the work of the Quilboar, young one. Year after year, they have encroached on our village. The great cataclysm finally drove them from their dens to spread like locusts across the land. And now you see the results. My own mother dead from their savagery. Today you are of age. Today you will take up your weapon and fight for the tribe, and avenge the Great Mother. Follow the path east and find my son. He will lead you in our strike against the Quilboar.
Winds be at your back.
Let's do it. Yeah, I realized I was looking at my spreadsheet wrong. A lot of stuff. What do you want from me? So the actual specific order we're doing things in is we're going to go ahead and do Mulgore today. Then I'm going to hopefully finish that in time to go lay down. Immediately after that, we're going to do... so this will be tomorrow. Tomorrow we'll do Teldrassil and then Darkshore. And then we'll pause on that character. Then we're going to switch. And then we're going to go ahead and do... Durotar, Ashara, North Barrens, Ashenvale, and then we'll do Ashenvale, then we'll do Stone Talon Peaks, then we'll do Stone Talon Peaks, then we'll do the South Barrens, then we'll do South Barrens.
Hail.
That's our immediate future. Welcome to your first true test as a Tauren.
Goodbye.
Behold, Ered, the very presence of the Bristle Blight. Bristleback is a blight. Nothing is left in their wake but corpses and barren land. Camp Narache would become what we see here in but a few days unless we stand and fight. This will be your rite of strength, the first ceremony of a Tauren brave. Go to the heart of the Thornsnarl and kill the Quilboar, then return to me.
Farewell.
Very well. I will kill them all. In the name of Ner'zhul... I mean... Who am I working for nowadays? Also, can I just say, I really like how some of this armor looks on us. Like, look at that. That's just solid. Right. And yeah, for the most part, we are going to be hitting up all of the Kalimdor stuff before we hit the Eastern Kingdom stuff. I could look up what's after that, but I mean, we'll get there. Bane's fine. It took them a while to actually establish him as a character, but he is fine.
Greetings.
You have fought well, Ered. We may yet be saved.
Go in peace.
Despite their size, the Bristleback greatly outnumber us. A pack ambush can easily overwhelm even the largest Tauren. Many new initiates have taken up arms to defend our homes. Some have given their lives, but others have been captured alive. Please, find their cages and free them.
Ancestors watch over you.
Some of you probably remember I had a wild idea back during Pandaria. That one of the things they could have done, which they obviously didn't do, is they could have had Cairn be the new war chief in the absence when we took down Garrosh. I think Twitch had an update because I noticed my clips stuff has been different too. Here's a wild question. Do you think that the Twitch clips will actually start working properly again so I can start publishing them again? Thank you for the sub, Arspruce. Always appreciate. Much obliged. Thank you. As usual, if you know what you want to put that towards, up to 3 things, please let me know. I just don't need to kill any of these things. Let's beeline a little bit. we've got Final Fantasy VIII, Morrowind, and the Awful Block. You got it. Thank you as always, our Spruce. They didn't bring Karen back, of course. They would never do that. It was an idea that was bouncing around my head for a while there, though. No, instead they went with Vol'jin, which was just, really?
Well met.
Thanks to you, our people are free to fight for their home.
Be careful.
You struck a great blow against the Quillbore. I will stay here and hold the line, but you need to move on. Seek Adana Thunderhorn. She has taken a few braves to the southwest to root out the rest of the Bristleback.
Farewell.
Yeah, let me put on these new boots. Just trust me, they're there, bro. I've been thinking about that racial class thing ever since I mentioned it. I really love the idea of playing a Tauren warrior who's just all about really big, slow, heavy hits, right? Just wham! Build up, build up, build up. Wham! Like imagine, same general warrior gameplay, but imagine their attacks use a lot of rage. So you don't get to use them all that often. But they also do a ton of damage when they finally land. Now, that would be boring by itself, because then you'd just be sitting there doing nothing while you wait for the rage to fill. But what could make that work is if you had other things to do that just generate rage, right? Actions and abilities that then serve as builders. And then you've got this giant-ass frickin' totem, the weapon we used as Taurens back in Warcraft 3, and just wham! Maybe even I don't know, just random thought off the top of my head. You do a giant hoof stomp on the ground, and it destabilizes all the enemies around you, and each one of them that takes damage over the next X seconds generates more rage for you, right? Just random stuff like that,
What brings you here?
And then you've got your big hits, which are obvious. I'd also like one that's a fling. Just one that's just a straight-up knockback. You get the idea. It's a baseball bat, right? Bam! The opposite of the yank for the Death Knight. More trials lay ahead. I hope you're prepared.
Farewell. May the eternal sun
Knowing the ways of your prey.
winds be at your back.
One of the first lessons you should learn, Hair Red, is to never underestimate your prey. While we were distracted by the attack on Camp Narachi, some of the bristlebacks swept in unnoticed and stole a cache of our rifles. You can now find them to the south, filling the air with lead. This is your rite of courage. Brave the hail of gunfire. Bring back the gun thieves. Hunt the gun thieves and bring back our rifles.
Walk with the Earth Mother.
Knowing the ways of your prey is another aspect of the hunt. As in the lands they come from, the Quillbore live in the shade and protection of huge thorned roots. When they move, their shamans seed and grow new roots for them to live in. These thorns mar the land and choke out other life, turning the earth around them barren. Go to the south and stop these thorn callers before they have a chance to continue, Hair Red. That might work here right now, but the problem is, well, that is obviously less work. Less man hours involved than my ideas. The other problem is it still contains the math problem, aka that means there's going to be a best spec and a best race, and that means a lot of people are going to have to either be paying for race changes or leveling a new character. That is, as always, a plague on games like this, and there's no real avoiding that. So I think in Reality Land, the best actual option is to make it purely cosmetic. To really change how the characters look and feel based on, whatever the race is. Add new spell effects, add new animations dependent. Like, imagine let me just use a random example. Shield Slam on every race basically involves going like this, right? Imagine on Tauren, you see them put their back hoof behind them for a second, brace for just a millisecond, and then roughly shove their entire body forwards, like they're doing a straight up charge with the thing, and that's their shield slam. Just little stuff like that. So, Valvedrix asks, do I think Vol'jin was a bad choice even before Legion? Yeah. Obviously, that's mostly a meta reason. But Vol'jin is not and never has been a particularly good leader. He's a cool guy, and he has several good things going for him. In many ways, he's the heart of the Horde, which is why he needed to become the Loa of the Horde. But regardless of that, he's not the guy who kept the Horde together. He pieced out, went off and did his own adventure, had his own book. That was cool. And then, you know, came back in order to lead a rebellion against Garrosh. We kept the Horde together. Oh, and so did Lorthamar. And so did Bane. The idea of him being the leader of the Horde is just ridiculous. Yeah, like for goblins, they put they put their arm forward, nothing happens, but then the shield just goes boing, yoing, 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 and that's your shield sound. Probably without the sound effect, that would get old. But, you know, just boing. Your shield sound. Boing. You know, stuff like that, right? For goblins, the charge is literally like a rocket boost. And that's had their charge animation. For Taurens, it's like a full-on sprint, right? For goblins, I don't know what you do, or not goblins. For gnomes, maybe like have some, sprout some rollerblades and just go, you know. Yeah, exactly, horns down, and that's your charge.
Peace, friend. We
A
shall.
bold bullet. With the corruptor slain, the Earth Mother will mend her own wounds in time. The roots are not meant to thrive here, and will wither. Balance will return.
Farewell.
How many of you brought me?
Walk with thee.
Well done, Hair Red. Respect your prey and the danger it carries, but never fear it. In fear, you become prey yourself.
We shall meet again. May the eternal.
There are more threats to deal with here. The bristleback are teeming wild boar to be used against us. These armored battle boars have been abused beyond hope of recovery. They must be put down for their safety and for peace.
Winds be at your back.
We must do more than simply hunt the boars here. The eyesore that has been left on the land must be purged. To give them a wild thirst for blood, the battle boars are force-fed raw flesh. Take this torch and use it to burn the troughs of meat and
May
gore.
the eternal sun shine upon.
Gross. Oh, leveling in Mulgore was a pain in the ass in vanilla. I kind of hated it. What sword? What are you talking? Actually, oh my god, I can't see it from here. I have to be at one of the only angles where I can't see the frickin' sword. Because it's like right there. But yeah, you can totally see Mulgore from here. And by Mulgore, I mean the sword of Sargeras, Teglash, or whatever it's called. Was it more painful than Durotar? I would say yes. Durotar was kind of a vanilla leveling zone. I know that sounds strange, but you know what I mean, right? It was like middle of the road. It was better than places like, say, Dun Morog, which was awful. Elwyn Forest was seemingly good, but probably one of the most unbalanced of the leveling zones. There's a reason things like Murlocs and Hogger became the memes. And it's not just the quantity of people who plague humans, it was the fact that they both sucked. And then for, let's see, we had Durotar. Teldrassil was honestly, I'd say Teldrassil and Tirisfal were probably the two best leveling zones overall back in vanilla. Heh, congrats, Auralia. Also, you're crazy, but that's unrelated. Lobby characters. Maybe have dwarves do a thing where, like, they just kind of use both hands and, like, smash the shield forward like that. Humans are boring. They just do the basic shield slam. So humans get the default attack. No need to give humans anything cool. Actually, no. So the game doesn't allow you to put 3 R's, or 3 of any level, or 3 of any word, side by side. So this is supposed to be Hair Red, a.k.a. Mr. Red. It is kind of a pun, because it is Hair Red, but there is an R missing there. Don't at me. Mulgore is definitely a zone that's not going to get very many doodad positives. This is a good comparison point. Because, like, for example, Kazan was really heavy on doodads. By contrast, Mulgore is really heavy on brickwork. This is just a zone that's gorgeous, you know? Big, vast, rolling green plains. Nice blue skies. Cliff sides in the distance. Good color usage, good color distinction.
Well met. Farewell.
You've not only wiped the boar's pens clean, but put a stop to a horrible desecration. Well done.
Walk with the earth.
Those beasts could have been a greater threat than the quill boar themselves if we'd not taken action now.
We shall meet
Chief Squealer? Squealer? Chief Squealer Thornmantle leads these quill boar. It was he that set upon Great Mother Hawkwind and took her life, leading the attack on Camp Narachi. He fled and hid afterwards, but we found him. He lurks to the west within his foul den of thorns, fending off any braves we send after him. You've proven yourself a brave defender of our people.
Winds be at your back.
Go kill him. Do I have to? I mean, I guess I can. Yeah, bring back plain striding. Oh no! Oh no! Oh no! No! I made it. Ooh, that was close. I mean, it really was. Don't worry, in like 5 levels we'll have a mount anyways. Yeah, a couple of harpies too, but yeah, those are the main ones. It's okay, in Cataclysm we get a new enemy. Dwarves! I'm joking. Dwarves were an enemy back in vanilla. That's actually not a joke. We'll talk about that. Because now that we're doing our first real Catazone, we can actually talk about a few things. Most of the tutorial areas don't get many positives. I've noticed that. Like Echo Isles got a couple of things. The initial Worgen and Goblin experiences got a bundle of positives because they were really, really good. But the norm is most of the tutorial areas aren't really all that noteworthy. And to be clear, this is a tutorial area. To reiterate once again, you've got your tutorial area, then your starter zone, and then you usually have a secondary zone, right? So for example, for the Night Elves you have Shadow Glen, that's weird, Shadow Glen, and then Teldrassil, and then Darkshore, right? For the Draenei, we had the Almond Vale, then Azure Mist, then Blood Mist, and so forth and so on, right? Oh, excuse me. So the Tauren tutorial zone is this one, Camp Narachi, and then we'll go out and do Mulgore, and their secondary zone is North Barrens. But most of the tutorial zones are simply fine. Some of them excel better than others. Tirisfal, excuse me.
Greetings.
Have you completed your trials, young one?
Go in peace.
The chief of the Bristleback is slain. Great Mother Hawkwind's spirit has been avenged.
Walk with the earth.
The camp is safe, and the cool boar driven off. All thanks to you, young one. You have my personal thanks for what you have done for my mother, my son, and for all of us. It is time to put Great Mother Hawkwind to rest. Lay the final offering at her feet, and we will say our goodbyes.
We shall meet again.
Earth Mother, into your arms we give one of our own. She is Unaya Hawkwind, my mother and great mother to us all, the wisest of our tribe. May her spirit fly to you swiftly, may the winds carry her gently, and the grass whisper her name. Watch over her as she watched over us. Let her look down upon us with joy, through the eternal gaze of Anshi and Musha, until we too join her in death. For we are all born of you, and shall all return to you.
How?
Ignore the Pandaren to my right, he's a monk. There is balance in all things. As Great Mother Hawkwind's spirit takes its final journey, you begin your first.
Be careful.
Today you have undertaken a rite of passage far more difficult than we ask of most of our youth. Be proud. Now it is time for you to continue your journey. To the west, beyond our burial ground, you will find a path winding up the mesa. Okay.
May the eternal sun.
And believe it or not, that's actually it. We're already done with the tutorial here. Most of these are pretty short. That's the idea. Oh, yeah, you want to hear something that some people disagree with me on? I am glad that we don't have footstep sounds in WoW. I know that's a weird take, and I myself didn't have it until, honestly, I started doing game reviews, so pretty recently, relatively speaking. But you do a lot of walking in this game, and usually you're moving, especially when you're moving in like in indoor areas, you're moving in a group. And that would just get really, really noisy. Just picture FF13. Granted, Blizzard has pretty good sound design, but like, picture FF13, but like 5 or 25 people are going clomp, 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 all at once. So here's a nice shot of Mulgore itself. I don't think it's quite as good as Sholazar Basin, for example, but that screams double positive to me. Look at that. That is gorgeous. It's one of the very, 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 very few places that isn't on Pandaria that I would be down for living in, you know? Ironically, Mulgore... Yeah, I don't think I ever noticed that, R-Spruce. I've lost my train of thought. I don't think they did much to Mulgore in terms of the graphic overall. Most of the vanilla zones, the old world, didn't really get any major updates visually. So, as we're going through Kata, most of the pluses we're giving for visuals are actually going to be vanilla pluses. So, I know you've been seeing a lot of those lately, especially in Wrath, and even in BC, and as we've been doing the new Kata zones, like, for example, the Goblins and the Worgen. If it makes you feel any better, if anybody in chat disagrees with visual pluses for this game, fear not, they're going to slow down a lot. I mean, Mulgore is supposed to be quite huge. Like, this is supposed to be the size of... Utah, I'd say, you know? Like, this is a gargantuan place in lore. But then again, that's MMO scale, right? If you are prepared to leave Camp Narachi behind, I will help call the spirits to guide you onwards.
Walk with the...
Look, Herod. The rolling plains of Mulgore stretch before you. Our home. The cradle of the Earth Mother. Here she provides us with all we could ever need. A peaceful and verdant land. This is what you will fight to protect. Your journey will take you far beyond her sheltering arms, to the farthest and cruelest regions of this world and beyond. Below us is Bloodhoof Village. The first step on the true path begins now. Drink deep of the water of vision and let the spirit guide you onwards.
Go in peace.
Oh, See, I just disagree with that, Yura. To me, it felt much worse when it was smaller. Yeah, I know, Ross. But then again, I've said this before. I get claustrophobic when I see that kind of fog, you know? Frankly, I wish we could push the fog back further than we do right now, because over there, I can't even ping. It's too far away. It's too far away. Wow. Where's the distance? Nope, hang on. There. Wow. That's as far away as I can ping. That's hysterical. Anyways, we can still barely see the cave wall in the front, like the fog effect that started showing up there. Yeah, no, exactly. Like, you gotta understand, this right here is like the Americas. Okay, that's actually a bit of an exaggeration. So maybe like the top of Canada to, say, Mexico is probably a little bit more accurate to what this is. Think about that for a second. Oh no, it's gargantuan. But you get the point. Also, good quest design. Rather than making us walk to town, we get a ride. I hate to keep pointing that out. I apologize. I'm just so happy to be in Kata. You have no idea. I say, I've done the drive across Kansas. That's a hell of a drive.
Peace, friend. Goodbye.
Welcome to Bloodhoof Village, hero. I'm glad the spirits have guided you safely here.
Go in peace. Ancestors watch.
Hair Red, there are many conflicts that wound this land. It is my hope you will not bear witness to as many of them as our elders have. Yet there's one I would ask you to seek. It will give you some sense of how terrible, if left unchecked, even a small threat can be to the land. The Pale-Mane Knolls have settled to the south of Bloodhoof and a cave to the west. They disrespect our attempts to communicate with them, and they slay the wildlife of Mulgore unbridled. Words are no longer the answer.
Be careful. Ancestors watch over.
You may have heard of the Venture Company. They are a goblin cartel, something like a tribe. Well, one of these cartels has joined us in the Horde. The Venture Company is loyal only to greed. These greedy goblins and their workers have tried to exploit the resources of Mulgore before, to little success. One of our outrunners has gone to check the remains of the goblin caravans. If you wish to help him, follow the road out of the village to the east.
Be careful.
Also, can I just say, Taurens are just kind of cool. I don't mean as in they're cool, I mean they're just kind of chill, right? Right? It's very rare you'll meet a Tauren who is just kind of, not chill. They do exist. I've mentioned this before. We'll see several Tauren, especially Tauren shamans, who tend to be part of the Twilight Hammer, because a lot of shamans joined the Twilight Hammer. And yeah, and then there's the Grim Totem. Those guys, ugh. We'll talk about them later.
How may I aid you?
Thank you for taking the time to speak with me. I am Rule, warrior, and teacher. You have obviously reached an age where you must prepare for your trials if you are to adventure further out of Mulgore. If you wish to test your strength, start by seeking out the Wind Fury Harpies to the southeast. Okay.
Farewell.
Yeah, the Grim Totem are arguably bad writing, because they are essentially universal evil, right? Like they're acceptable targets, for lack of a simpler way to phrase that. To my memory, there's only, one Grim Totem who's cool? He was in one of the books. Yeah, exactly. They're a tribe of hats. You see that a lot, right? It's like, oh, they're all such and such, except for that group. And yeah, the Grim Totem are just kind of evil. Frankly, we'll see the same thing with the Fell Totem when we get there. I think what I would do in a Warcraft rewrite, not that I would ever do a Warcraft rewrite, is I like the idea that the Grim Totem aren't evil, they're just ends justify the means, right? So while the Tauren in general are really big on external honor, very Klingon, right? They're very focused on doing things the right way, in the right way. They're very ritualistic. They definitely have a lot of tradition guiding their actions and their policies. And of course, they've had good leaders for many generations, and they've also been under the gun for a long time. So a lot of the Taurens have sort of naturally drifted into being, for lack of a better way to put it, chill. But then there's Taurens who are only interested in results, and make Grim Totem something more of a faction, like it's a tribe you can just join, rather than actually being a tribe, right? And some Tauren are like, why do we not simply kill the goblins when they show up? Well, they haven't done anything to us yet. They will! We know what those little parasite rats do anytime they arrive. Why not simply deal with them the moment they do? Why do we suffer their scars on the land? That's how I would write the Grim Totem. And then Magath is just like, me, I'm evil! And that's her character.
What brings you?
Our sacred wells have been tainted. I need your help to fix this. To cleanse each well, I must create a cleansing totem, and you must bring the totem to the well and perform the ritual. First, we'll create a totem for the Winterhoof well. To do this, the land must offer its aid. Hunt the prairie wolves for their paws and plain striders for their talons. Okay.
May the eternal sun shine upon me.
Also, you notice they are extremely shamanistic. While there are Tauren druids, the Tauren in general are very, very naturally in touch with the land. So, you'll notice, like, even the quest I just got. Go get some offerings to offer to the spirits to bless this magic, so we can use this magic to just do something as banal as clean some water. That's all we're doing. That's all we're accomplishing with this quest, is trying to purify a water well. But you can see how that actually is important, because, you know, having non-tainted water is kind of critical. So, you see the idea, right? You see how this kind of lines up. It's really cool, and it's very world-building. There's actually another layer to that, too, which I'll talk about in just a second. Oh yeah, the Tauren have been allies of the Night Elves for literal millennia. Yep. No, war. Gotta be at war. War. Hang on. Lord Harrimon's talking nonsense. I'm gonna have to put him down. That was the warrior trader. I don't actually know. Well, we'll come back to that, I suppose.
What brings you here?
The swoop is a cunning bird and difficult to hunt and find. A collection of swoop quills is a badge of cleverness and determination for a hunter. If you're willing to take up this task, then enter the plains and hunt the swoop. Bring me their quills and bring honor to your clan.
Goodbye.
I can do that. Yeah, the music really exemplifies Tauren mindset, doesn't it? Yeah, Tauren can be paladins now, which is interesting. Ah!
Greetings, traveler.
My grandfather told me stories about his battles with a strider named Mazranache. He told me of its demonic red eyes, razor-sharp talons, and venomous bite. As fortune would have it, while traveling across the plain, I encountered it, and it took a nasty bite from my shoulder. He was as terrible as my grandfather described. I've gathered all the parts of a remedy to cure myself except for a flatland cougar femur. I grow weaker by the moment. Please help me.
We shall meet again.
Well, okay. Being a paladin, like, okay. Being a paladin isn't really hard. We already talked about that, right? It's just, it's also extremely unlikely. One moment.
Hail. Walk with the Earth Mother.
Okay, we're going to skip that quest. The reason I bring that up is because paladins, again, are priests who have martial training. It's kind of like red mages over in FF14. Like, it's not like anybody can't do it, but you have to be very, very, like, there's military training, there's martial training, there's your faith, and then there's your practice in using magic, all at the same time. It's not the kind of thing that just anybody can do. It's the kind of thing that most people don't even bother with. So, the Taurens in general are so focused on the land and their more natural shamanistic and druidic magic that it tends to lend them more towards being things like druids or shamans, right? Or even a warrior. Yeah, as Kira White Noise says, anybody who's going to be a martial warrior. Hey, speaking of which.
How may I aid you?
He doesn't say anything to me.
Go in peace.
I've been lied to, Lord Harriman. Anything that the Taurens, like, Tauren who wants to hit things with a hammer, to put it into simple terminology, is probably going to lend themselves more towards being a shaman. Or a Tauren who is magically inclined is going to lend themselves more towards being a druid, right? Now, there's nothing that prevents them from being a paladin. It's just their cultural mindset doesn't drift that way. There's, in fact, a specific faction of Tauren who specifically revere... I'm not sure where it is, actually, at the moment. Alright, there it is. It's right up above me. The sun. And have a degree of sun worship, and that's what leads the Sunwalkers into what they are. But yeah, by the way, I just want to say, because a lot of people have assumed that I got the term Lorewalker from this very game. And in fact, that is not true. I got there first. I had the term Lorewalker all the way back in Asheron's Call, which predates this. Predates Warcraft 3, even. And, in fact, my very, very first Tauren that I ever made back in the beta, was named Lorewalker. Because it felt like just an appropriate use for them. So I'm just saying, Blizzard took the idea from me. Oh, that's actually kind of... Okay, so I say that's funny, but I don't mean that in a bad way. Because my first orc ever was named Rage Roar. In fact, I'm still fond of that name to this day, because it just kind of rolls off the tongue well, Rage Roar. Damn it, Rain36, you're right! Ah, I have failed you all. Rain36 has lawyered me to death. As it should be. Hey, Crazy Norse. So we're doing things in kind of a weird order, because I want to show things off in as close to a coherent manner as I can. So what we're doing is we're doing Mulgore, and then I'm going to lay down. I'm tired. But we're going to do Mulgore, and then we're going to do Teldrassil, Darkshore, Durotar, Ashara, North Barrens, Ashenvale, Ashenvale, Stone Talon, Stone Talon, South Barrens, South Barrens. After that, it's going to get a lot easier, but I had to line that up in a specific way to try and tell the main story quest that's going throughout Kalimdor. Because there's no way I'm skimping on that, you know? Pretty much the same route as in the lore run, but I had to rejigger it a little bit for the sake of review. Yeah, hypothetically, yeah, Crazy Norse. Yeah, North Kalimdor, I like Kata in general, but the North Kalimdor route, the North Kalimdor MSQ, let's call it what it is, because it is a main story quest kind of a thing, is, in my opinion, legitimately awesome. I've even done it recently, because I went through it earlier this year with a friend of mine when I was trying to experience Cataclysm with her. Yeah, I feel like, and this is purely like personal perspective that probably has no validity in reality. I feel like they took a little bit more careful hand with the Taurens because they were inspired by Native Americans and they didn't want to screw that up. They didn't want to pull a Chakotay, to put it very, very bluntly. I have no evidence of that. It's just something that I've felt in the back of my head. You don't see a Tauren walk up and say, Okuchimoya, I am far from the bones of my ancestors. I agree with you, Crazy. In Classic, that is to say in Vanilla, frankly, most of the zones didn't look that great. I mean, I don't want to say they looked bad. I mean, Blizzard has always been good about art design. And by always, I mean from about Warcraft 2 onwards. But seriously, I think it is legitimately interesting that Warcraft 2 was a really good-looking game when it came out, and frankly, still is. Come at me, but I mean that. I think Warcraft 2, the original, not the remaster, looks good now. As an aside, the remaster looks pretty good, too. Was Warcraft 1 pretty for its time? That's tough to say, but I'm going to go ahead and say yes. Warcraft 1 is a very rough game for many reasons, but I don't think visuals is one of them. If you've ever seen Warcraft 1 in its original format, you could tell a decent amount of thought and effort was put into the pixel design. And considering a lot of those people were geeks who had grown up on pixel art games, that makes sense to me. You know, they had examples of the early and mid, early NES and early SNES era stuff in order to pattern off of, right? That's true, Huthor. And worthy of notice. Yeah, Chakotay represents Native Americans. All of them. Everywhere. Which, if you're not familiar, it's kind of like saying that Crazy Norse over there is representative of Europeans. Which I think is an appropriate comparison, because a lot of people tend to think of Europe as a single tribe. Or single country. Which is just... Then again, people do the same damn thing with the United States, don't they? There's no multicultural thing going on in the United States. We're all one people. That's the ultimate reason nationalism is so stupid. Sorry, little off topic. But it's going back to what we were talking about with the Gilneans, right? We don't have one culture in the United States. You don't have one culture in Britain. And Britain is like this speck in terms of geography compared to the United States. You still don't have one culture in Britain. When I say Britain, what I mean is the United Kingdom, just to be really clear about my terminology there. The UK. I just don't like saying the UK. That's it. It's just a pet peeve thing, don't mind me. Yeah, exactly, Zen. Exactamundo. Yep, LA and rural Texas, identical. No, Scotland's currently trying to sue me for doing a dwarven accent. I don't know what their problem is, really. It's not a Scottish accent, it's a dwarven accent. Get it right. Cool. One of the things that amused me the most, I've actually told this story before, is back when I first moved to Indiana. This is a while ago. This is when I was getting the surgery. When I was getting the necessary care to take care of my failing health. With the kidney stone issues. When I moved out there, the very, very first thing that I was surprised by was how different their southern accent was from most of the southern accents I'd been hearing up until then. Because it's not like I was unused to southern. The problem is, as anybody will tell you, there's no such accent as southern. There are several different accents that are southern. And that's the same way everywhere, right? Like, that's just how it is. Yeah. Something I didn't find out until pretty recently was that an inordinate quantity of films are filmed in Atlanta, over in Georgia. Like, when you sit down and you look at it, it's like, yeah, but it's just funny. Like, yep, no, that's the United States is Atlanta, Georgia. Anyways, I'm sorry. I'm getting way off topic here. Point being, I like what they do with the Tauren. I do wish they fleshed out the Grim Totem more, but I've already given my thoughts on that. Yeah, the only defining trait of Southern accents is they tend to be loose about enunciation. That's where the term drawl comes from. You need to make sure the words just kind of flow a little bit into each other as you're talking about them. Let them kind of slide from vowel to vowel, you know? Yeah, 100 miles is a long way in most European countries. I have personally driven longer than 100 miles multiple times in my life. At some point, assuming we ever actually move, I'm going to be driving longer than that again. Splinter Tree Post. We'll be doing that probably tomorrow, if everything goes correctly. Let's see. Well, we might be able to manage that, even though I'm cutting off early today. I do apologize. I'm just exhausted. Like, having trouble focusing my thoughts exhausted. You notice I haven't even updated my review notes. I've still just got the notes in there. Because I couldn't engage my brain enough to actually type up proper notes on that. I do apologize for that. You know, ironically, nothing is preventing a Tauren from being a warlock. If you think about it. Although nothing's preventing anything from being a warlock. It's Fel. Fel doesn't care. What are you? I'm a bunny. Okay. Would you like to learn how to summon demons? Why, yes! I'll show that little fox. I'll show them all. And then the garden patch will be all mine. Oh. The garden patch is now full of Fel. But Fel is so much more delicious than the leaves and lettuce. Yes. And now I want to see a Fel version of, like, one of those kids. You know those kids' books? That's like the frickin' rabbit who's fighting against the gardener. I want to see that, but with Fel now. I'm not even joking. I want that to be a thing. Yeah, I know the feeling, prisoners. I almost didn't do my second shift at all, but I figured, oh, we can knock over Mulgore. We got this. Mulgore is not a particularly large zone, ironically. And yeah, there's actually been a Tauren rogue in the game for quite a while. As a joke, of course, but now he's just roaming out and about, which is just funny.
Well met.
If Amo has already explained the minor quibbles of what kind of goblin will be driving from our lands, let's get to work.
Farewell.
A few days ago, we found a venture company caravan traveling under guard on the northern shore of the Stone Bull Lake. We'd lost 2 of our number in an earlier battle, so we were quick to lay waste to the caravan. We left their supply crates, thinking that our torches would destroy anything of value, but given that the venture company salvagers have been spotted near the burning wagons, maybe we were wrong. Perhaps you can go to the caravan and examine the contents of the crates. So we're following through on a quest from Vanilla. There's a bit of an asterisk that you kind of have to eat when it comes to several zones for Kata, and that's that a lot of Kata quests specifically follow through on events from Vanilla quests, right? The problem is, Vanilla was a while ago in lore. 3.5 to 4 years ago, depending on how you define that. So, like, for example, we went and burned their caravan. You can see the caravan burning. It's right up there, right? But it's still burning. It's been 4.5 years. So there's some timeline wonkiness there. Now, this actually makes sense, as Huthor has actually already pointed out in chat a few days ago. The problem is that Vanilla didn't have a timeline. Vanilla kind of existed extant time. It didn't... Nothing grounded it in terms of time, if that makes any sense. So Vanilla could happen whenever. Any given zone in Vanilla could happen whenever. Very, very little of it happened directly before or after anything else in vanilla. There were a couple of exceptions, but for the most part, it was just whatever. So the way I like to think of this, and this is admittedly a hand wave, is that a lot of this vanilla stuff, just part and parceled, happens to sit more or less immediately when the Cataclysm stuff happens. Oh no. No! I'll save you. I'll save you. Oh my god, I think I did. I think I actually saved him. He has got how much health? 1! He has 1 health. No, 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 no! Ah! I did it. I did it. I saved him. He had 1 health and I saved him. I'm going to take a flex on that. I cannot believe I pulled that off. As a warrior. With no healing. I enjoyed that far too much. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Moving on. He was probably reading the quest text, too. All sides of the crate are stamped with signs of the Venture Company Mining Division. Notes printed carefully on the side of the carton indicate the contents are due for processing at one of the central plants. Prying open the lid reveals a tightly packed assortment of ore and minerals, more evidence of the Venture Company's mining operations in Mulgore. On top of the ore and minerals, you spot a tightly bound sheaf of papers. Up in the foothills to the east, you can see sounds of work and see smoke rising from a large fire. That's just some rando. I have no idea who that is. It's some dude. That's my day made. But yeah, no, exactly who thought. They were just a vignette. They were just a vibe. Like East Plagues had a major story arc to it. Obviously, Westfall did as well. God, that might be it. I'm actually struggling to think of any other major story arcs in vanilla. I guess there was the one in the Burning Steppes, or the Blasted Lands. God, I always get those two confused. Whichever one's this one. Blasted Lands. So there was the one in the Blasted Lands. The one with Razalik, and technically Kazakh. I will admit this. I'm not a big nostalgia person, but I have a very fond memory of Mulgore. I'm almost positive I shared this during the lore run. The spot doesn't even exist anymore, but you can go there in Classic. I went there in Classic recently. Let's see. I don't remember exactly what was happening at that point in my life. Just that I was not doing well emotionally or mentally. And I was in WoW. It was in the beta. I was on Lorewalker, my Tauren. And I wandered up to somewhere... It's not actually there anymore. But it was like up there-ish, right? In Classic. And I just stood on one of those dirt hills and watched the sunrise in real time. Because I think I've mentioned this before. Server time equals game time. So 5 in the morning is 5 in the morning, and then noon is noon, and then night is night, right? And it happened to be the middle of the morning, because again, I was extremely depressed at that point in my life. So I was just sitting there watching the sunrise in-game. And something about that moment has stuck with me for a long time. Anyways.
Greetings.
Hail, Hair Red. Have you learned anything about the new Venture Company's plans? They plan to exploit our lands as they have others. The Outrunners will put a quick end to it.
Be careful.
It does indeed appear that they are attempting to rob us of our natural resources. It's good to know it's true, and now it seems to we have something to do about it.
Go in peace. Ancestors.
This explains the buildup of Venture Company employees and equipment we've seen in Mulgore. Those goblins. The company is expanding too quickly for their own good. It's how they say, show a goblin something and you can hear the scales in the background. Greedy little things they are. Unfortunately for their business enterprise, we Taurens cannot allow them to conduct their operation in our lands. Go to the mine and send them a message.
Go in peace. Be careful.
According to the documents you salvaged, the Venture Company created many plans to drive us from our lands here so they could have free reign to plunder them. The depths that they would sink to accomplish their goals disgusts and appalls me. I want their mastermind killed. His name is Supervisor Fizz Sprocket. Okay.
Ancestors watch over you.
Yeah, not racist at all there. You realize you're working alongside some goblins, and goblins are people like anybody else, right? Like, I know we've got a bit of the hat problem in Warcraft, but it ain't that bad. Oh yeah, Taurens are very much freight trains emotionally. Once you get them angry, they stay angry a long time. So yeah, we had the Tyrian stuff. That's East Plagues. War of the Shifting Sands. I actually forgot about that, but yeah. So Silithus. And yeah, I guess Bolvar's story arc. I forgot about that too. I stand by the Blasted Lands. Razalik. Moira. You know, I'm not even sure that counts as a main story quest, to be honest with you. I mean, there's definitely an arc there. It actually goes, if you remember, from Nomergon to my sister to the Badlands to the Syrian Gorge to BRD. But it was like one of those barely in the game things, right? Like we just barely find out about the Black Rocks, and then it's all of a sudden, oh hey, we've been doing this whole time. What? Oh god, what are we doing? Oh god.
We were running into a cliff. So you couldn't see where we were going.
Hello, dear sister.
You didn't message me. Does that mean you haven't done the thing yet? Or you did the thing
Okay, what am I messaging you?
about the dungeon?
Oh no, we haven't done that yet. That's probably going to be
Okay.
at the weekend.
Well, if it was going to be on the weekend, I didn't need to stay up until 2 o'clock in the morning leveling my tune.
I'm sorry, I thought I mentioned it was probably going to be on the weekend.
No.
That's also why I didn't help you with leveling, because I realized it wasn't that much of an urgency. Because Lord knows I have other characters I could have grouped with you on. So I'm a terrible brother.
I'm level 35.
Woohoo!
Exactly. I had to leave because they wanted to kill, they finished the dungeon and they wanted to kill one more boss, and I was like, I can't.
I can't. You don't understand.
I can't reach level 36. And they're like, what? And I was like, I'm doing a thing with my brother and I have to be exactly level 35.
Look.
By the way, it was the end of the dungeon that did it.
Mm-hmm.
Because when I got it on, you're not high enough level to use them out.
Yeah, I was just going to pull up my yak. Because my inventory is...
Mm-hmm.
That doesn't surprise me, though, because that boost at the end, plus if you're a healer.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I really like where Shadow Priest is now. Have you played with it a bit?
Not since they adjusted it with the patch.
Well, I don't know if it's any different from Dragonflight. It's just, I really like where it's at.
It's
No.
very different from Dragonflight. They made a big... They broke us from the end of Dragonflight, and then with the anniversary patch. They did some things.
I'm sorry, I keep being amused. I keep getting these abilities that I'm not going to use. Here's a tank ability. Here's a PvP ability. Tank ability. Tank ability.
You could just pull them off your bar.
Actually, I can't because it's locked.
Shift.
Oh, I didn't know you could do that.
You've been playing WoW for 20
I don't use the default UI, okay?
For 20
I don't use the
years.
default UI, ever.
20
I'm never going to use it again,
years.
too. It's going to be gone and dead because it's so crap. That's not true. I think we're going to use it like one more time after this.
20 years.
It's actually been longer than that. That's the best part because I've been playing this game since the alpha.
21 years.
Did you know? Mulgore.
Yes, it's very pretty.
Mm-hmm.
This would have been like in the top of places to live if it wasn't for the fact that Thunder Bluff is gonna drive my vertigo nuts.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, you don't want to live up there. You want to live like over here by the lake.
And it's really hard to get in and out of. And there's, I mean, it's a capital city and it's not a trade hub.
Yeah. Yeah.
It has one minor road in and out of it.
Yep.
And it has
air connections.
it has a portal
That's true.
in the cave, which you have to climb the hill to get to.
Yep.
Yeah.
Just get on the elevator. Don't mind it. No, don't look down. Don't look down. Don't look down. I know the elevator's made of wood. It's fine.
And not attached to anything
It's
but a
fine.
rope.
It's fine.
It's a pulley system. Do this thing.
It's cool.
So
It's
if the
cool.
person on the going down side isn't heavy enough, or the person on the going up side is too heavy.
Then it's fine. It's fine. Don't worry about it. Everything's cool.
Okay, so this weekend.
Yes, sorry, again. That is your salad in the outside fridge, right?
Yes.
Okay. I figured,
It is my salad.
but I went to get lunch, and I was just like, did someone not eat, like, an entire salad?
Yeah, because I had eaten it at like 4, so I wasn't.
Oh, you should look what David managed.
We started working on 4.
Yeah. Don't ask me.
Well, let's do painting first.
Again, don't ask me. I am the wrong person to talk to about this. That's true, but I'd have to buy the game again, Uthor. I think... No, actually, I could just make a new account. Because I wouldn't have to buy the game to do the Exile's Reach. I could just do a tutorial experience.
What do you want to do?
So, Exile's Reach, I need to review that at some point.
You don't have to have a new account. You just need to make a new character.
No, I know, but, like, I was just curious if there's anything different about having a truly, no, really blank slate approach to it, right?
I suppose Exile's Reach is a good place to do that with.
Yeah. I'll think about it, because, yeah, that isn't a bad idea.
What brings you here?
Let's see here.
Farewell.
It's not like you don't have another email address somewhere.
I do have a couple. 6. I don't think there could be too much misinterpreting or ignoring of that signal. The venture company will know not to take the Tauren lightly, or to be arrogant as to
I
believe
like how
it
the
will not allow
goblins
them.
on our side.
Listen, the goblins are evil. You have to understand.
Goodbye.
Because this was written before they became
Because
orcs.
no, it's okay. They actually have a line of dialogue. It's true. They'll line it up.
We
We're
have
like,
a singular
yeah, no,
line.
it's like, listen, I know some of the goblins have joined us, but these are the venture company. I'm not joking. You have a speck right there.
Yeah, I know. I can see it. It's fine.
No, it must be fixed.
There's more than one spec.
No. I could check, Uthor. As soon as I've done fixing my sister's glasses, because she has a speck, okay? And anybody who's ever had glasses knows what I mean when I say a speck. I hate specs. And yes,
I did water on my so
this is disorienting as hell.
the color.
No, looking through glasses with other glasses. Like the prescriptions are conflicting there.
Yeah, they had a spec, but I'm still tired enough that I've got like the sleepies swimming around in my eyes, so like I could tell it was a spec on the glasses because it wasn't moving, but yeah.
I'm sorry, that's not perfect. That's as good as I
I still have.
can do. Sorry, there is my launcher. Let's see if it is an option. Good afternoon, Evo. And that's her reaction to you saying hi to her.
Hi. Yeah, no, you
Yeah, I don't have any option for EU anything. I can change which version of WoW music. This is funny. I have this option to just change the classic in the launcher. And if I do, I then have the option in the launcher to change hardcore, season discovery, anniversary, or hardcore anniversary. She does not.
so I now have this,
Oh.
but I don't have the regular to classic.
It's still very strange. Whatever. I don't know.
It would probably be in your
Right up
like
here?
yeah, make a new like
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
Or like up here somewhere.
yeah.
Anyways, doesn't matter. Bless you.
Go in peace.
My anger is somewhat lessened by the news that Fizz Sprocket is dead. I will go through his personal effects, see if there's additional information about what the venture company has planned for the future. Thank you for your efforts, Herr Red.
Ancestors
Good
One.
night.
Isn't Venture Company also the ones that run the fly things?
No, that's this...
Yes, this is retail.
Hang on. I can't think of the name all of a sudden. Okay, so we have... It is Steamweedle. I'm right. That's Steamweedle. Yeah. Yeah, because Steamweedle runs all the neutral towns, too.
Brother-in-law's wondering where I disappeared.
Yeah. I actually didn't know it was that soon, Luthor. Thank you for telling me. That is going to change my plans a week from yesterday. Like, I think our approach of not even bothering to hop on until the servers are up is the correct one, as yesterday proved. It was a little irritating because, really, it took us 2 shifts to get through Gilneas, but it was only like 4 hours of streaming. We could have done that in 1 shift, right? Whatever. Anyways.
The winds guide you, ancestors.
You have done well, Herr Red. I will take these and bind their power into a totem of cleansing.
May the eternal...
I have crafted this totem to cleanse the Winterhoof well. Now you must take it to the well and perform a cleansing ritual. The well is to the southeast, but be warned. Whoever did this may be there, lying in wait.
Ancestors watch.
Okay, I'm gonna do that. They're not eyes, they're, God, I don't know what they are. They're Taurens, that's what they are.
Peace, friend.
Have you found the swoops? Do you have their quills?
Goodbye.
I know that gathering these quills was not an easy task. In doing this, you have proven you are a warrior of merit. It is good to have you at Bloodhoof.
Farewell.
Oh yeah, you know another reason I like Blizzard? This isn't saying much, I'm going to be honest, but it is something that deserves to be recognized, I think. Yes, I did, Spartan. The developers, the artist team at Blizzard, experimented with using AI upscaling to upscale their old textures, because their old textures look kind of like this. Everything they came up with was unsatisfactory. It was such a terrible upscaling job that every single texture was requiring manual fixing in order to make it working, at which point they just would have to do it all manually. So they decided to not use AI upscaling for the majority of that. Good.
Hail.
Herr Red, it's good you have taken the task seriously. Respect of the land and its creatures is important. Death and life are a circle, a necessity. One cannot exist without the other. Take time to ponder this and do well never to forget it.
Be careful.
Until recently, a group of dwarves intruded in our lands to the west, carving the earth apart senselessly to search for treasure. When the very earth itself tore itself apart, 4.5 years after that quest, the spirits of the land they had abused rose up and took their revenge. The agitated earth spirits will roam the former dig site. We must offer them appeasement.
Ancestors watch over you.
Part of the reason that just jumped into my head was because I really hope, and they never will, it would be a huge amount of time and money, and nobody cares, but I really hope they go back and redo these textures someday. It's not like the designs are bad, right? The design is still there. It's just that the old texture resolutions are terrible. Like, look at Silvermoon sometime, you know? And yeah, I'm actually kind of with Uthor, because the skybox out here is, I mean, it's that. And I'm sorry, that's Ocarina of Time skybox right there. That's not good. That's arguably not even a skybox. Like, compare and contrast that to the Honorin Plains. Just right off the top of my head. In fact, actually, let's make this point. Let's thoroughly make this point. Where's the end? So, there's the skybox, okay? Just get it in your head. See? Really blurry clouds, blue sky, nothing else, okay? Just get that picture. Freeze it in your mind, freeze it in your mind. freeze it there. Freeze it. Freeze it. I remember that comic. I mean, in an ideal world, yeah, Tiff Tag, but that's never happening. That's way too much work. I mean, this is what I like to call going for the jugular, because this is an extremely unfair comparison. In fact, here, look at that skybox. Even Orgrimmar's skybox is still just kind of, eh. Deliberately ignore this incredible looking city for a second. Ignore one of the best looking cities in the game. Just ignore it. Ignore it. Ignore the incredible city. This is the skybox of the Honoran Plains. There are multiple layers and several bits of movement. It's just, there's no comparison. There's no comparison. Look at it. Look at it. Even just the clouds moving. Ignore the fact that I'm currently generating thrust. Hang on. Let me land. So it's not doing that anymore. There you go. See? I mean, that wouldn't surprise me, Secret Boss Fight. Not really. Which is funny, because Fortnite itself cribs so much of its style off of Blizzard's. Kind of nice symmetry there, you know? No, this isn't even the best skybox of the game. It's just a really good one. Look at that. Look at that. This is why the skybox thing is at least doable. Editing skybox is a lot easier than going through and redoing textures or redoing zones. They never will, of course. Instead, we're stuck with this. It really, like you say it jokingly, it really is very GameCube-y or PS2-y, isn't it? Anyways, we'll get to Dragonflight eventually. At least we're in Kata, right? The best expansion that Huthor never loved. Never will.
What brings you here?
The Wind Furies are deadly foes. Their strength in battle is only rivaled by their desire for fresh meat. Flesh meat, as opposed to the other kind of meat.
Why?
They really like Impossible Burgers, okay? Just don't ask. There's no eyes. There's no... Okay, those are eyes. But there's no other eyes. There's no eyes.
Looking for something special?
I've said it before, I'll say it again. I really wish they'd fix the bug where periodically we just randomly get titles that we already have. Like, hey, you just get a title. No, I didn't.
Be careful.
But you just got a title. No, I really didn't. Hey, no.
Peace, friend.
My fever grows worse, and I find my mind drifting into delirious nightmares. Should have known I wouldn't be able to handle a beast my grandfather wasn't able to defeat. Do you have the ingredients for the remedy? I fear if I do not clean the infection soon, it'll be the death of me.
We shall meet.
Thank
again.
you. Using the items you brought me, I'll be able to create the remedy. I need to... Yeah, but I'll never forget the screeching call when Mazranake came upon me. The blaze of color as its beak descended. Be wary on your travels.
Walk with the earth, Mother.
Alright, let's go kill some people. You know, I'm not sure. And obviously we can't tell for another, like, 5 hours. Because, again, it's real time. Speaking of which, you know what? One thing that WoW needs, and I mean this with absolute sincerity. Day-night toggle. If you remember, I complained about that in FF14 as well, but at least FF14 has a excuse, which is that there's gameplay mechanics that matter for when it's night or day. WoW, not so much. It's purely cosmetic. Except for that one balance talent. So just, yeah, let us be like, and let it see it as night or day, you know? Actually, hang on. I wonder. Well, it doesn't appear to be here. If it is, I don't know the name of it. It wasn't an elixir. I was just checking if they ever made it into a toy. I actually don't really toy hunt that much. You notice I only have 506 of the toys. But I do have a lot of toys because I've been playing this game for a long time. So pretty much all these toys I have just gotten naturally by just playing the game. And I was just wondering if I had managed to get that at some point in time. I do know one of the Skybox changing toys. Because it's this one, I believe. No, that's not right. What's the name of Valentine's Day in WoW? What's the in-game, the in-lore name for it? Tune out non-party members is a toy, too. I forgot about that one. There it is. I love the search feature in this game. I can search for the event and still find it. So yeah, let's make it a peaceful day. So this is Mulgore with a better skybox, by the way. In case you thought we couldn't just literally hit a button and do that. Oh, that looks so good. Look at that. Look at that. Oh, hang on. Hang on. Here's sunset. That's... Oh, look at that. That is fantastico. And of course, we gotta have our nighttime. There we go. That is a night sky. There's Mulgore at night for you, right there. And last one. One of my favorites, actually. Doesn't do much for the skybox, but that's still a nice skybox. That's still a good storm skybox. See, give me this, Blizzard. Let me do stuff like this, right? Make it a toy if you want. I don't care. Like, you already did. This is a toy that I just used. Let me change skyboxes and rain effects, or rather, weather effects. It is a toggle. I have just proven that it's a toggle, because I just did it. Didn't it? I swear to God, they added weather as a thing, and then they, like, got rid of it, you know? Or am I just, like, gaslighting myself? Because I swear that was a thing they added at some point. Like, somewhere around the BC Wrath era. Actually, this specific effect does affect other players, because what's actually happening is, you notice I've got a buff. So what's specifically making this happen is that item is putting out a buff aura. So anybody in range gets that buff, and thus it changes the appearance to look like this. So if some random player walks up here right now, they're going to be really startled to suddenly see a rainstorm. Hell, the best rain I usually see is in Suramar. And by the way, that's the best looking rain in the game, I'm just saying. It's quite literally mana rain. Whoops. Oh yeah, make it a flavor spell thing. Something. God, it's clearly doable from a tech side. Anyways. So real quick, back in vanilla there was a quest to kill the dwarves here, because the dwarves are not welcome and were like stealing stuff. So as you can see, the dwarves have since been killed by the elemental spirits, which rose up because they were pissed at the dwarves for digging here. So all the dwarves are dead. And see, as we get back in range, it starts raining again. Here, I'll prove it even better. Check this out. This is going to be wild. Let me switch it to nighttime here. And then as we get away from it, it's suddenly daytime. Let's see. Telling you, the tech clearly exists. I know, not exactly a high priority for Blizz devs. I understand the zero-sum game. I do. Why would a dwarf ask for permission? They're dwarves. You know, I'm not actually sure, Yura. That would be funny if, like, several minutes from now, someone walks up to, you know, that questing area and is like, oh, I wonder what's up here. Oh my god! You ever have one of those... Ever have one of those moments where, like, you don't have context, so you encounter something and you're just like, what the hell is going on here? I got a story like that. One time I walked into a town called Eastham, which is a town in Asheron's Call. And a bunch of people were... Oh my god, Evo. And a bunch of people were standing in town saying weird things like Viash Shapaj and Zokaj Kwejal in chat. And they were just saying it in chat like this, like, say, just in say chat like this. And I was like, hey, everyone, I'm looking for someone. Has anyone seen such and such? And they would just be like, Vokash Bizet. And I'm like, anybody? Can anyone help me? Jibash Kizajivo. And they just kept going with that, and I finally gave up. I was just so weirded out. And I, honest to God, thought that they were just doing whatever, right? Like, just completely ignoring me and talking in some language I didn't actually recognize. What they were actually doing was practicing their magic. Those were actual spells they were casting, because back in early Asheron's Call, when you cast a spell, your character would say the spell component out loud in the chat channel. Now later on they changed that to be a completely different channel, so you could tell when someone was actually casting or not, versus literally saying the words out loud, right? But at the time, everyone was just /saying, you know, the equivalent of cast heal self, right? I didn't know that. I didn't know anything. I was just confused, like, where the hell?
Well met.
The land is clearly still in grave upheaval if it took such effort to calm down. Remember this, do not forget the fate of those who would scar the Earth Mother. Death to the dwarves! Not that I agree with that. The dwarves are cool. Seriously, dwarves are cool. For the most part. Funnily enough, that's kind of the same thing with the Tauren, isn't it? Dwarves are cool and Tauren are cool. Yeah, dwarves can be dicks. As we saw during Wrath. So, Huthor, you missed it earlier. One of the things we were discussing in the lines of things that might realistically happen is a whole bunch of cosmetic spell effects. We were thinking about Warrior in particular because it's easy to think about. Like, imagine if when a Tauren does Shield Slam, he, like, pushes his whole body down and then just, like, shoves his entire body forward like he's a football player. Just wham! Or, the Goblin was going to have, like, a thing where he holds up his shield, and the shield, like, bounces off on a spring in order to attack. So, boing, and that's your Shield Slam, right? And yeah, essentially class skins for spells. Or rather, in this case, it would be race skins for spells. What's with all these Grim Totem up here? Go away. Go away. I think that's at least a little bit more realistic than some of the other options that exist. But the main reason I bring it up is I was curious if you had any ideas for things that would be neat there. Because you can do a bunch of stuff with that. Like, I'm obviously focused on Warrior because I happen to be playing one right now. Oh, God. Yeah, and he becomes a general, too, and he shows up in Pandaria, secret boss fight. If that's the guy I'm thinking of. Yeah. Class skins would be easier. Less work. And they could monetize it. So, yeah, more likely to actually happen. I should probably actually go to my quest turn in.
Greetings,
A
traveler.
Grim Totem. I'd hoped to see the end of my days before the Tauren attacked other Taurens senselessly on the very plains of Mulgore. But be proud. You have done a great thing for the land and for your people.
Go in peace.
There's more work to be done. We must create a new totem to cleanse the Thunderhorn well. You must gather the claws of the predators of the Mulgore plains. Hunt prairie stalkers for their claws, and flatland cougars for their claws. Return to me.
We shall meet
Okay,
again.
I can go do that. I suppose we should do this quest. I was kind of holding off on this one. Ooh, I like that Uthordia. Just, you know.
Dog. Greetings, traveler.
So, if you're wondering why the voice acting sounds weird, that is voiced by the person this is a reference to. I think is how I'm going to frame that.
May the eternal sun shine upon thee.
Help cure Hair Red. My prized puppy Kyle has run away. I know he's running around Bloodhoof village lost and hungry. Will you find him and feed him? Once he eats, he will settle down and come home. To feed him, you'll need to find his food. His favorite meal is tender strider meat. Venture east and you'll find plenty of striders. Hunt one down and take its succulent meat to Kyle. When you see Kyle, put the meat down and he's sure to come to you. To my knowledge, this is one of the very, 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 very few quests in the game that is unchanged from vanilla. For once, I don't blame them for that. I wouldn't have changed this either. I've already seen him running around. Oh, there he comes. And then the dog starts dancing. He's apparently quite happy once you feed him. Ezra Chatterton. God, he died in 2008.
Will you help me find my dog? Greetings, traveler.
Fantastic work. Kyle came home as soon as he ate.
My dog so much.
And he went straight to bed. Thank you for your help.
The winds guide you.
Let's see. God, that can't be right. He was 11 years old when he was diagnosed with brain cancer. So the Make-A-Wish Foundation made sure he could tour the Blizzard Entertainment offices. And he worked with Tiggle specifically to create this character and the quest for it. And he provided the voice work for the quest. That's why he sounds so terrible, is because he was not doing great at this point in his life. He also got the very first Ashes of Alar. And he died the next year. He's also been made into a Lunar, the Lunar Elder in Thunder Bluff. And I have nothing good to say about that. Yeah, sorry, I should explain who Tiggle is. That's Jeff Kaplan. By and large, one of the better, just more decent folk at Blizzard. What's really sad is Jeff Kaplan was also consumed by Titan, just like everything else was. Titan really was a black hole to Blizzard. And really the best part is we don't really have a fully 100% complete picture of why. At least, not last I checked. We know a lot of details about Titan, but by all accounts it shouldn't have turned into this sinkhole. Which it was. It really was just a black hole of everything, for lack of a better way to put it. Like, people got burnt out, and people got, it pretty much, it nearly killed Metzen, for Christ's sakes. But that's not a joke, by the way. You can look that up. Dude went into the hospital because of Titan. Like, it was destroying people, it was destroying productivity and creativity and resources and man hours and actual money. It was just this black hole. Yeah, Titan. Hello, Mr. Red. Or should I say, Hair Red. I've actually agreed as Minister. And Blizzard has made several development mistakes in their careers. That's just... That was a sea change for the studio. They have arguably never recovered from that. Or, if you could say, they have only now started to recover from Titan. You ever have one of those things where you just kind of have vague, it'd be cool if ideas? I'm sure you do. I'm sure you know what I'm talking about. But anyone who's ever been involved in a project knows exactly what I'm talking about. Where people just kind of toss out whatever ideas without any coherence or consistency or guided through line or central document or whatever. And so you just get a lot of it'd be cool ifs. That was Titan in a nutshell. And yeah, there's a reason you should never do this. Speaking as a project lead, who has run multiple projects now at this point in my life, don't get sucked into the well of, it'd be cool if. That is a black hole from which there is no return. Yeah, I'm thinking about it, Lord Harrowmont. This is wow. Like, you could tell it's just a mostly unchanged zone, isn't it? Look about how much walking we're doing. Holy cramoly. It's actually funny because I was going to say something positive earlier, and then I did Mulgore. I can mount. I am now capable of mounting. Thank you for pointing that out. I should actually have dragon flying now. Yeah, there we go. Hey, hey! Oh, thank God. Oh, that's going to be so much better. Still, I didn't get it until, like, I think the quest just before this one. Come on. There we go. Hello, Wolverine. Okay, so... oh, that's gonna help. Oh, hang on. Could be Bragon. I don't know.
Peace, friend.
Hair Red, do you have the claws I sent you to gather? The water well grows more tainted with each passing hour.
Walk with the earth.
Thank you. The purity with which these beasts hunt is vital in the creation of the next cleansing totem. The Thunderhorn well is a symbol of my own tribe, and to know it is being desecrated by our own kind raises a fury in me I haven't felt in years.
May the
The
eternal...
Grim Totem are a tribe that believe all along Kalimdor should belong to the Tauren alone. Yeah, they're literally Tauren supremacists. Their hate and anger led to the corrupting thirst for power. Magatha, their leader, poisoned our High Chieftain Cairn Bloodhoof and attempted to take Thunder Bluff for herself. She was defeated, the Grim Totem exiled. Now they seek to ruin Mulgore itself as they are driven out. Quickly, perform the ritual.
Ancestors.
Oh, it's so much better. Oh my God. But yeah, Mulgore is pretty. Oh yeah, you can see the sword, by the way. There it is. Its quests are better than vanilla. Don't at me. But that just puts it up to acceptable territory.
What brings you here?
You've done me great honor. Please, take this with my
Go
gratitude.
in peace.
I cannot thank you enough for cleansing my tribes well, and for fighting the savage Grimtoad to do it. But there's more to be done, and it's time for your journey to lead you to beyond Bloodhoof. Zarleman Two Moon stands by the fire to the north end of the village. Speak to him and learn of the ritual you must undertake.
May the eternal sun shine.
Why does it keep picking the red protodrake? It's on random.
What brings you here?
I sensed you would be coming to me, warrior. I can always recognize one who's trying to pass the rites of the Earth Mother, because they show up on a freaking red dragon.
Be careful.
Be sure you're ready to leave the village behind. The next step will take you far from here. Your path continues to lead onward, across the fields of Mulgore. The eyes of the Earth Mother on you at all times. Consume the water. Okay.
We shall meet.
Let's do it. Oh my god. Hey, Mr. Floyd Pinkerton. Here. Let's go ahead and grab Mortal Strike. Yep. We're honestly, I'd say over halfway through Mulgore. It's not a long zone. No, we're probably well over halfway, now that I think about it. I do love how you can see Hydel from here, and I'm pretty sure, someone asked earlier, I'm pretty sure that is Stone Talon over there. So what was better about Vanilla Mulgore, Uthor, if you want to give specifics? If he feels so inclined. The music's legit. The vibes are legit. I'll agree with both. Mulgore still looked pretty, even back in vanilla.
How may I aid you? Goodbye.
Be not afraid. You have successfully passed the rite of the vision.
Go.
You have successfully tripped balls. Is that a good thing? There's but one water well left to cleanse, named after the Wildmane clan. For this well to be pure, the land must offer the teeth of a fierce predator, the prairie wolf Alpha.
May the eternal sun shine upon thee.
May the eternal
To gain acceptance
sun
amongst the
shine
elders of the
upon
Thunder Bluff, you must next complete the rite of wisdom. Now that you pass the rite of vision, the ancestral spirits of the Red Rocks will give you the blessing of our ancestors. Only those who have drunk from the water of seers can gain this blessing. Travel east to Red Rocks and seek out the ancestral spirit.
Go in peace.
Only the most valiant of Tauren are laid to rest at Red Rocks, our sacred burial ground. It's an honor bestowed upon the great warriors who helped found and defend Thunder Bluff, and those who have given their lives for the greater good of their tribes and chieftains. But it appears a foul menace has made its way onto our holy land. A band of bristleback interlopers is ravaging the gravesite, and I am too old and past my prime to drive them away. They must be driven off with force.
Winds be at your back. The winds guide you.
Hair Red, my brother soon stands before Chief Bloodhoof. It's my honor to make his headdress for him. I want to ask a favor of you while I finish tanning these leather straps. There's not time enough to find feathers, and I was wondering, would you gather more for me? You will find feathers of the correct size on the harpies residing to the north and northwest of Thunder Bluff. Sure.
Walk with the Earth Mother.
What you're probably seeing, Mr. Floyd Pinkerton, is almost every race, or I guess I should say class, gets the same Kata stuff. Like, this is all Kata gear that we're picking up here. So that's mostly what you're saying. I'm not saying I disagree, it's just that's probably the source of that. We actually did talk about that secret boss fight, and yeah, it's The only thing that's ever done is introduce a gigantic plot hole, which they created another plot hole trying to fill. Just retcon them. Just retcon the goblins out of existence. Or the War of the Ancients goblins out of existence. And we're good. We're done. Well, the Mimiron proto-goblins are the ones that were explained away for the War of the Ancients. That he found a bunch of races that he didn't know what they were. They totally weren't pygmies. Wink, wink. And he was like, oh my gosh, I've exposed them to Kazimite, and they're so much smarter now. Now they're going to go help Deathwing with thing. And then they just go away, and they stop being smart. They devolve. Ooh. I mean, I like that too, Secret Boss, but we don't need the War of the Ancients to do that. Like, come on, goblins have made crazy levels of stuff. I mean, they made a submarine, for Christ's sakes. A functional submarine, I feel like adding. If that doesn't sound impressive, allow me to point you to the engineering feats required to make a submarine happen. In a setting where most people are using swords. Yeah, the rocket in Area 52. That's actually another excellent example of it. They had an honest-to-God rocket. Ooh. So, Huthor asks a question. I think I got this from the Traveler's Hut. I think? Yeah, this feels like one of the monthly mounts. So, I can make one quest chain. I notice you're ignoring my question, Huthor. I can make one quest chain for WoW. What would it be? It can be any zone, any character. No, that was completely thrown out the window, Magister. They actually I already talked about this. I talked about this during the Goblin Starter Zone. They periodically bring up, like, oh my god, we need more Kazimite, and then they forget about it again. It's like Gilneas. What exactly is the status of Gilneas? I was curious what you preferred about Vanilla Mulgore over Kata Mulgore, where the variance was. Especially given this is one of the least changed zones. Like, this is up there with Teldrassil as far as zones that are barely different than the original. Not to oust myself or anything, but I admit I was one of those people who was really disappointed by Kata Teldrassil. Not that it was bad, just that it was hardly different. I was hoping for something different. You have shown great diligence in yearning to pass the rites of the Earth Mother. We, the ancestral spirits, represent the mighty Tauren who gave their lives bravely to found and protect our great city of Thunder Bluff. I hereby pass that duty and protection to you. Oh, thanks, I think. Well, let me keep protecting your bones here. And yeah, air burials. They pseudo-embalm people. See? And then put them in their own casks, and then put them up on the stilts. And they've got the, what I would normally call dream catchers, but I'm not sure what they're supposed to be in lore here, beneath them. Interesting stuff. That makes sense. Yeah, Lord knows Kata Mulgore, despite my complaints, is actually a lot smoother, or smoother's the wrong word. Quicker? Faster? Whatever. You know what? There's a lot of dangling plot threads I would love for them to go back to. Mostly stuff that's effectively been abandoned by now. But you know what would actually appeal to me the most? And they'll never do it. You also limited me to just one quest chain, but honestly, I'd still probably go for this, even if I can only do one single chain about this. What the hell's going on in Outland? And that sort of answers what the quest would be about in one simple question. No pun intended. Really follow through on Outland. At least as much as you can within a single chain. Maybe like have one quest per zone, right? Since you decided I only get one, like 8-ish quests. So like, what's going on in Hellfire? And Zangarmarsh will be like, follow through on each of these zones. Here's what's happening in Hellfire Peninsula. Here's what's happening in Zangarmarsh. Here's how the Blade's Edge has devolved. Now that Gruul is gone and the Black Dragons have all left, Blade's Edge is mostly abandoned to, the Ogres and the Mok'Nathal, right? Netherstorm has stabilized, but is never going to be returned to the plains of Farallon. Right, stuff like that, right? Just follow through on it. What the hell is going on out there? This headdress will certainly be a wonderful gift for my brother.
We shall.
Thank you for your help.
Again.
My part in my brother's ceremony is almost complete. Giving him his headdress and witnessing the ceremony are all my duty requires.
Go in peace.
Have some armor.
Well met.
Silithus would be... So it's funny, Silithus and Dustwall were two of the other ones I thought of immediately. A true follow-up to Theramore would not be amiss to me, especially now. Absolutely, Yura. You kidding me? Well done. You've sent those foul bristlebacks a clear message. They will think twice before attempting to meddle in our holy spot again.
Go in peace.
Here's an ability you will never use.
Hail.
Hair red. Do you have the teeth I asked for?
Be careful.
Very good, Elizar. I can feel the sacrifice of the land in this offering, and my spirit swells with sadness and pride.
Go in peace.
Your cleansing of the well of Winterhoof and Thunderhorn is spoken of amongst the spirits. The wild mane totem is made. Your last task lies ahead.
Goodbye.
Let the water flow. Once again. Actually, that's actually a fair point, Uthar. I don't disagree with that. The Blue Dragonflight quest chain is kind of what I'm talking about when it comes to the hypothetical Outland chain. Just, it's not super long, but it does a lot of follow-through and a lot of plot threads. And it helps that the Blue Dragonflight chain was really, really good. I mean, if I was in charge of this game, Warlords wouldn't have been in an alternate dimension in the past. It would have been on Outland!
Well met.
You've done it. You've cleansed the wells and healed our land. Bloodhoof Village is grateful. May the wind whisper your deeds for 100 seasons. May the waters of Mulgore remain clean forevermore.
May the eternal sun
The wells are cleared. Mulgore's waters run sweet and clear once more. You have saved us, but you've also uncovered grim happenings. The actions of the Grim Totem must be made known. It's time for you to enter Thunder Bluff, our great city. Okay.
in peace.
Normally I'd have to take the elevator, but screw that, I'm out! Woo! Screw it! Okay, fine. We'll do it legit. Ugh. Yeah, we'll even zoom in the camera just for Yura. That's an interesting question. We've actually talked about that before. In fact, we've even thought about precedents for that before. If a game establishes a plot thread and never follows through on it, is that a negative for the game? And it's kind of debatable, isn't it? Because on the one hand, yes, you introduced a plot thread with no intention to fulfill it, but on the other hand, games and stories do that all the time, and then later follow through on it. So, I think the way I kind of leaned there was no, but there's definitely an asterisk of, ugh, it bugs me. Going up. Yeah, the blue flight chain was just out of nowhere. Holy crap. So, welcome to Thunder Bluff. This is actually, I believe, only our third? No, 1, 2, 3, 4. Fifth. This is our 5th capital city review. We'll be covering Darnassus next, and then Orgrimmar. Let's get that out of the way. This capital city sucks. It's the worst capital city in the game. Total garbage. Mega garbo. I'm kidding. Its layout is a little strange, but it makes sense once you kind of get used to it, so that's not the best. Well, this entire tier, this bluff right here, is pretty much entirely crafting. If you're going to do any crafting stuff, this is the place to be doing it. There's a central pillar thing, which allows you to go up and down. That's fantastic, Mr. Red. I feel like a real man for the first time. That sounds more mocking than I intended to be. Down here we have our basic stuff. Auctioneers right there. And of course we have the bank right over here. And our guild bank right here. So this is actually pretty good layout in terms of gameplay. We've also got a wanted board. You notice it's also small. As strange as it sounds, yeah, I was gonna say, compared to Orgrimmar Original, this place is actually pretty laid out. I used to set this up as my primary hangout spot, unless I was going to do something, because gameplay-wise, this is a pretty solid hub. Give me one moment. I would say this is actually one of the better hubs from a purely gameplay perspective. Innkeeper's right next to the bank and to the auction, by the way, so great hearth spot, too. Sorry, I know I keep talking from a gameplay perspective. I'll get to the story side of things in a second. That's also why we're still down here on foot, so you can kind of get a feel for this place. I happen to like the music of it, too. Up here we have the combat area. This is where a lot of PvP stuff happened. This is pretty much where I hung out when I was doing PvP stuff. A couple of paladin stuff, a couple of trainer stuff. None of that's really relevant anymore. Go ahead and head over to this rise. I will totally raise my hand on that one, Uthor. Yeah, this is kind of Ironforge. That's a good way to put it. The Ironforge of the horror. Cairn is very dead. He is turbo, no really dead. He is not coming back dead. He hasn't come back since before Kata. Now, I'm going to share something that you're all going to make fun of. This guy right here is one of my most well-remembered NPCs in here. Why? Because this is where I would level cooking initially on every character I would raise it on. And of course, over here is another very, very important NPC. This guy's a repair vendor. How did he die? That's an interesting question. We've actually already covered that, but I will repeat myself briefly. So this is his son, right here. Obviously the honor guard. He's one of the easiest. Ignore the gigantic pipe. Don't think too much about that. Gosh, it's actually a bit of a story. After the events of Wrath of the Lich King, Thrall had to put down the reins of leadership. He had to stop being the war chief because the world was in such dire straits. It really needed all of the shamans it could get a hold of. Hey, it's Pashana. Sorry, that's a story. So yeah, Thrall is the most skilled and powerful shaman on the planet. He was kind of necessary. So he needed to go and help deal with all of the consequences of the cataclysm. So he had to hang up his war chief armor and give it to someone else. There's a lot of people he could have given it to. He decided to make the biggest mistake he ever made and give it to Garrosh Hellscream. Here's Hamul, consequently.
Nature seeks balance.
Well, I should be seeing him a few more times. As recently as Dragonflight, even. There's all our trainers. Oh, there's archaeology. So Hamul, or not Hamul, sorry, Thrall gave the reins to Garrosh. He gave it to him for several reasons. Nepotism, Garrosh was a populist, but also because Thrall very foolishly thought that Garrosh could could become a better person, could be honed and refined by being given responsibility, right? In other words, you sink or you swim. Garrosh sank. Thrall thought he would swim. So he gave the reins to Garrosh, but he didn't leave him alone. He left two very skilled and wise leaders along with him, Vol'jin and Cairn. Now, it's worth noting that both of them... Yeah, no, Thrall was thrown into the rocks, and Thrall was like, I need to sink or swim. And Thrall swam. He figured it out, he got his act together, and he arguably saved the Orcish people, and frankly, also the Darkspear and the Taurens. So, it worked. Cool. So he tried the same thing with Garrosh. Did not work. Moving on. But early on, Garrosh had two advisors, Vol'jin and Cairn. Now, obviously Vol'jin is his own thing, and we've kind of already talked about it. What are you guys doing up here? I don't think I've seen these guys. I guess they're post-Legion. What sword? And Cairn was actually a really good advisor. Cairn was a great leader. He was a very wizened leader who knew exactly what he was talking about, and was exactly the kind of person to unite the Horde and keep it together and keep it on, for lack of a better way to put it, the right path. So, early on, Garrosh... Remember, one of Garrosh's strongest character traits is that he does not really have a sense of self in any true sense of the word. Like, he doesn't really have much of a, this is me, or these are ideas that are mine. He takes other people's ideas. Maybe takes is the wrong word. Other people's ideas imprint upon them, and they become his own. That's the better way to phrase that. He doesn't really think for himself in the traditional sense of the word. He just kind of goes along with whatever he has been told is right. Like, for example, demons are bad, so he thinks that demons are bad. Or, we take what we want, so he thinks that taking is acceptable, etc., etc. So yeah, he's kind of a mimetic sponge, right? So initially, Cairn started rubbing off on Garrosh in a good way, and Garrosh was willing to do several moves in order to try and improve the daily life and lot of the people living in Durotar, which, remember, is not great. They do not have a fun everyday life in Durotar. So he started making overtures to trade with and make peace with the Night Elves, because after all, the Night Elves had tons and tons and tons of fresh game and wilds and forestry, bountiful resources that the Horde could absolutely use. So he reaches out in trade because of Cairn. The Elves rebuff him. Okay. Cairn is like, hang on. Let's try this a little bit differently. The Elves... My people are old friends with the Elves. We can make this happen. No problem. Yeah, no, the Night Elves were dicks about this, by the way, just to be very clear. But Cairn cautions, let's make one more attempt. Let's really try this time. And there are several signs that this second attempt would have succeeded. It would have been a little bit of bowing and scraping, but the Night Elves like it when you bow and scrape to them, to be frank. So they probably would have been like, oh, okay, sure. And we could have had an era of peace and prosperity. Then there's this group, you've probably never heard of them. They're called the Twilight's Hammer. The Twilight's Hammer infiltrated this meeting and, like, really, really horrifically murdered most of the people there. Made sure there were a couple of witnesses and blamed the whole thing on the Horde. So when the Night Elves found out about this, like, ritualistic sacrificial murders of their people, naturally they immediately thought that the Horde did it. What? And Garrosh, when he found out about that, he was pissed. And I don't actually blame him. I would have been really pissed, too. I have bowed and scraped twice to get you assholes to help us out with basic survivalist things. Okay? I'm just trying to make a trade deal happen. And you guys are just being dicks about it. So Garrosh was like, screw that. You don't want to trade? I'll take.
Ancestors watch.
And so Garrosh said, he is a marauder at heart. So he said, we're just going to invade. We're just going to attack Ashenvale, and we're going to take what we need in order to supply for us. Now, as you might imagine, Cairn didn't like that. So this led to an argument, and that argument got very heated, and finally they challenged each other to Mulgore. That's a duel. I say a duel with no other modifiers because the exact rules of Mulgore kind of vary, and some people disagree on it. Point being, it's a duel. So, Garrosh goes into this Mulgore, and he just cannot land a single hit. Literally cannot land a single hit. Cairn is just bodying him. Because, of course, Cairn is a much, much better warrior than Garrosh is. However, finally, Garrosh gets one blow in. Ha-ha! And Cairn dies. And Garrosh is like... And everyone's like... So here's the thing. Garrosh is actually quite ignorant. So earlier, Magatha, that Magatha that we're dealing with as the Taurens, she said, hey, oh great war chief, let me bless your axe so that you can go fight with honor and justice. And he was just like, yeah, sure, whatever. She actually poisoned the sucker. Put a vicious and horrible bleeding poison, whatever. It was a very, very, very virulent poison onto the axe. So, to be very clear about this, Magatha killed Cairn. Garrosh walked into that situation with intent to fight Cairn to the death and probably lose. But Magatha actually murdered Cairn and did so with duplicity. Did so in a way that nobody ever could have perceived. In fact, it still almost didn't happen because Garrosh was getting beaten so solidly he just couldn't land that hit. It was only when he finally landed a hit that Cairn actually fell over. Yeah, Garrosh didn't know about the poison at all, to be very clear. When he found out, he was really angry about this. And he will never actually, again, really be accepting of Taurens in general because of what she did. Yeah, so that's what happened to Cairn. Sorry, a bit of a long story there, but it was a whole chain of events that led to all the things being the way they are. And the consequences of that we will keep feeling for at least another expansion and a half at this point. Because Magatha killed Cairn, and that pretty much is the event that stabbed a spike into the middle of the Horde. Think about it for a second. If Cairn was able to rein Garrosh in, or indeed just took the reins of the war chief, the Hellscream War would have never happened. Or at the very least, it would have taken a completely different form. Yeah, I know. The Blizzard devs would always come up with some excuse for war. But, think of it from an in-universe perspective. Cairn, Vol'jin, and even Garrosh, all functionally still trying to run these things, and keeping things functioning and operable. And instead, what happened was Magatha made a petty power play to claim Thunder Bluff. And nothing else. And then, that failed, because once Cairn died, she made the immediate play for Thunder Bluff and completely underestimated how hilariously outmatched and perspectived they were. This is a little bit of interpretation at this point, but I've always got the idea that when they made the attack on Thunder Bluff, which actually happens before the events we're about to do, they mentioned it during the opening cinematic, if you're paying attention. That attack, I always felt like they thought they would be welcomed with open arms amongst the people of Thunder Bluff, and didn't really realize that they were going to be hated and reviled, especially as word about Cairn came about. So Bane did his due diligence, kicked their asses right out, and exiled them. And that leads us to here.
We fight when we must. For
Welcome to Thunder Bluff. You've done great things for our people. Tell me of your journey.
honor those who came.
Some people see us as gentle giants, or noble savages. They have never seen us fight against our own kind, against betrayers from within. The Grim Totem were offered mercy and exile, and they have scarred their own home to spite us. They will no longer be tolerated in Mulgore. I've already sent our warriors ahead to drive them through Stone Talon Pass to the north. You have fought bravely. I ask you join this battle. You'll help deal with the final blow.
Stand strong. Stay true.
Now, here's the weird thing. For literal years, many players, myself included, thought Cairn would come back. The excuse was admittedly silly. I mean, he's a shaman. He's got reincarnation, right? It's right there on his ultimate ability. But the truth is, we really did figure they'd bring Cairn back. I'm just going to spoil this for you if you don't know. Cairn has yet to come back. And at this point, probably never will. Oh yeah, and in case you missed that, the question we're doing this whole time with these poisoned wells. Yeah, so the Grim Totems were kicked out of Thunder Bluff, given exile, and as a consequence, they decided to go and start poisoning all the wells of Mulgore. Let me say that again one quick time. The Grim Totems decided the best possible course of action to being spared in exile was to poison the wells, literally. So now we're not doing that anymore. There's no more exile. Now we're doing this.
So have I, Grim Totem.
Bane, you've shown yourself. Get him. You are very stupid. You will die in shame like your pathetic father.
It took a coward's poison and the fury of Hellscream to bring my father down. What chance have you?
This.
It is for you.
Yeah. Yeah. Mission accomplished, buddy. We're done here. Mulgore will no longer suffer the hatred of the Grim Totem. I'll meet you again in Thunder Bluff. Bane's decently strong, but in terms of Warcraft heroes, I'd put him like low middle tier. That's just because Warcraft heroes tend to be, you know, they scale up, you know what I mean? Like, Jaina is an extraordinarily high tier mage, for example.
What brings you to me? We are
Welcome back, Hair Red.
Together.
What was done was not for revenge or pride. It was simply to protect Thunder Bluff and all of our people from torment and fear. Mulgore is safe once more today. The Earth Mother thanks you for all your brave deeds, as do I. You've earned your reward. May you always be welcome in Thunder Bluff.
For the Horde, always.
But listen, I need you to go talk to Garrosh and join him. Wait, you want me to join Garrosh? Yes, I need you to go join Garrosh. No! You can't make me. I refuse. I'd rather stop existing than join Garrosh! Damn. It's okay, we don't have any other races joining the Horde. So surely no one else can actually go and join Garrosh at this point, right? I shouldn't have done that because I still gotta finish reviewing Thunder Bluff. Hang on. Oh, it's too late now, Master. He's already deleted. I didn't see it, though. The only quest that was... I even looked, if you're paying attention. I checked the next quest. But the Cairn quest... I'm not sure where that's at. I could undelete, but I'm not gonna. Stay deleted forever, Mr. Red. Where you belong! I mean, you know what? That's fair. I shouldn't do that. You do have an alternative. Instead, you could go join Garrosh. Let's try to look at Thunder Bluff from the air, shall we? Because it really shines from up here, I think. It's so small, but in a good way. Look at that. And I also didn't show off the last bluff over here. No, Elizar. Let's see. Elizar says, how many players say Sylvanas lost her purpose after Wrath? Yeah, she literally did lose her purpose, because her purpose was revenge. I don't even understand that question. That's not a question. I'm so confused. Listen, nobody likes Warfronts except for me. I liked Warfronts. I was mad that they discontinued that. I never even found out why people didn't like them. Like, I've never heard someone say, I don't like it because ... All I ever heard was that the community was like, these suck, end statement. And as with the overwhelming majority of reviews out there, no information was given. Shantae Advance, Spider-Man, and Red Dead Redemption 1. The what, Elizar? I mean, okay, so Sylvanas was basically a non-character in vanilla. Had no presence in BC, and had no real presence in Wrath. That, you're joking. Oh my god, Uthor. Okay. Let me guess, that's why people didn't like Expeditions, too. I mean, I can't say anything. I liked Torghast, too, so apparently I'm just the idiot here. Oh, hey, here's the Orgrimmar Zeppelin guy. What's going on, buddy?
What's up?
Can you believe it? They finally opened a place for us to fly a Zeppelin through. No fly zone no more, am I right? When they crashed one Zeppelin into a cliff on the test run, I don't see why they were so worried.
Be good.
I liked Warfronts a lot. Sylvanas was a character in Warcraft 3, Elizar. Or more accurately, in Frozen Throne. She had no presence in WoW, really, until Kata. And yeah, and then Kata shows up, and then Sylvanas is at least 2 characters. Because writers can't possibly coordinate with each other. No, she didn't... There's no Sylvanas in Wrath. Like, the only presence Sylvanas had in Wrath is to be the other Jaina for 3 dungeons. And all she is there is incredibly evil. And I mean that. I even gave a negative to it for how hilariously, stupidly evil she is in those dungeons. That's true, Valerian. By the way, this is my favorite hangout spot in the whole place right here. Make fun. I don't care. This is where I used to hang out. Right here. In fact, this was my mage's hangout, the character I'm on right now, for the longest time. Like, whenever I'd go someplace to log out or just chat for a while, I'd go here. Yeah, of course she did. Of course she wanted revenge on Arthas, but like, and? Revenge, first of all, is one of the most bare-bones basic character motivations that has ever existed. And second of all, she had no presence. She wasn't in Wrath other than the 3 dungeons. I don't know, Yura. Because we do have the Flyers, and they take care of Flyers. I would only say Sylvanas was responsible for Wrathgate under one of 2 provisos. 1, sheer incompetence. Or 2, the fact that she was totally behind it all along. Because the jailer is behind absolutely everything, and his dick is absolutely huge. Moving on. Enough of Sylvanas. We're done with Sylvanas. Yeah, I'm feeling a double hub. This is one of the better hubs from a gameplay perspective. Doodad usage is actually pretty basic. It is essentially just vanilla. So, it's fine. Nothing really great. I do love the Tauren architecture, though, and this is one of the better Tauren architectures we see. So we've got architecture, we got culture, we got Mulgore, we got the hub design things. I don't know. I like Thunder Bluff. You know, I've been wondering that too. There's just these giant tusks. We all just kind of accept that they're there. In my headcanon, those are actually wood. They have been carved in the shape of tusks. Boop, boop, boop. I don't know, I'm having trouble rating this place higher. I kind of want to, but I kind of can't. The textures are too low res. And there's not a lot they do on the NPC side of things. There's not a lot of doodads. It is a vanilla town. I'm not sure they did Recker's Beard. I mean, they added a couple of NPCs. Like these guys up here. The High Mountain guys. But that's kind of it, you know? Oh well. This does lead to something I was going to talk about, though. That's true. These elevators, honestly, kind of sucked back in the day. No joke. Hang on. Okay, now you can go. And yeah, the Zeppelin was added in Cata, that's true. Because they wanted to have a way to them connect, and... Well, it used to be you just took the run, but you kind of can't make that run anymore. Because, yeah. No, it's still here. It's still here. No, it does have a good vibe to it. I'm not actually arguing that record. That's why I'm still roaming, just thinking about it. It's a decent hangout spot, which is, of course, why I tend to hang out here. A ship. A hoppy. Wait. That be another bird. Yeah, it flies to Orgrimmar because nowadays a new Tauren player has a quest to go to Orgrimmar. But to get there manually, they would have to walk, and they kinda can't. Like, I didn't show this off properly. So there's the path up here. Hang on, I'll show you. Actually, there is such a thing as an atmosphere positive Uthor. And I think Thunder Bluff would qualify, right? So you can walk up here, and this leads up in this direction. So if you don't have flying and everything, you can just go up here. But now you're up here. Where do you go from here? Like, I guess you can kind of thukunk your way down that way. Or maybe thukunk your way this way. That just feels awkward and unintentional. So this is probably not an intended way out of the zone. The old intended way out of the zone isn't valid anymore. Is it sad that I wish I could go faster right now? Come on, give me my dragon flying. Full dragon flying. That's true, though, I could. Let me go faster. Next I'm actually doing Night Elf, but that'll be tomorrow. I'm taking an early night because I'm exhausted. I need to lay down. So yeah. Used to be, you'd head out here, and you could walk across the Barrens and get to Durotar from here, but there's a thing in the way now. Now, I believe there's a way over this. Don't quote me on that. We'll find out in a second. Can I... Maybe not. It might be invisible. Oh, there we go, there we go. Okay, we're good. So you could still make this trip, but you probably shouldn't, because this is a much higher level zone. So, yeah, South Barrens, this is not a place you should be walking across. And if you decide to make the route up towards the crossroads, ignore all this, ignore all this. What you will run into is the next problem. Hello?
Yeah.
You're kidding. I didn't know that was there. There's her assistant, even. Huh. So apparently, if you really want to, you can still walk from Mulgore to Orgrimmar. This is despite the fact that they have the stupid Zeppelin there, specifically to avoid all this crap. Wow. I'm actually a little surprised by that. Usually there's the intended solution, and that's it. I don't... So, I don't know if that was there in Kata. But it was definitely not there before Kata. And then we'll end up here? Yeah, okay, well. Why would gnomes be disgusting and ugly? That's actually really hurtful. Why would you say something like that? Hang on. I want you to do me a favor here, okay? I want you to look at my gnome here. Tell me this girl's ugly. Say it to her face. You have to say it right to her face. Tomorrow I'm playing this character. Let's go scooch her up so you can actually see her. There we go. Night Elf Druid. That should be fun. See you guys.